The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. There's no line that makes me laugh more on that show.
I know what you're going to say.
Than when I don't believe he's here for the right reason.
Yeah,
like, but I'm just saying, like, if you legitimately want to find a life partner, if you legitimately want to find somebody that you connect with, that you could share with, that you could procreate with, that you can live with, that you can become one with, is it really on TV, on a TV show where you're,
It's happened.
And lasted?
Yeah.
It has, yeah.
Yeah, well,
babies have been born. I agree with you in the sense that the fact that the show is sold as a last chance at love, I think is comical. It's just like if The Bachelor is not a place where it's not a last resort, and I wouldn't recommend it to someone I cared about to find love. It is a place that people have found love, and I do think, in defense of the show, for all the people who critique the poor track record of the relationships that start. I mean, like, where do people have a good track record?
Right. It's
Most
not
relationships, it's not any less successful.
Why did you go on?
For the experience. I thought it,
Not for the exposure?
I was a kid at the time. I was selling software in Chicago, and I thought, I'm being genuine. I say this, but like, to me, I would have thought it would be cool if I was stopped by the local news and was on the 5 o'clock news as witness number 3. I would have been like, oh, that would have been cool.
No, I agree.
And so when I got the call, I had never been my experience of traveling had been to Dominican Republic and Mexico. I'd never been to Europe or Asia. So much about The Bachelor is traveling the world.
Right.
So I thought, well, and when I first got asked, I only said yes because I had never been to LA, and I genuinely thought I would say no because I had a job that I loved, a job I cared about, and a job I wasn't willing to lose. And so I really just said yes to the casting process. Like, well, I'm not going to do this show, but maybe I'll get a free trip to LA, and it'll be kind of cool to see what the casting process is like. And as I went through the casting process, I realized that they liked me and they actually might ask me to do the show. And then I was lucky enough to have relationships with the people I worked with where I just, like, a few people I trusted, and I said, hey man, like, so there's a show called The Bachelor, and they're like, and to my surprise, everyone, and I had good relationships with important people in the company. To my surprise, they all told me I should do it, and I was lucky enough that they valued me as an employee and allowed me to do that and keep my job.
So I get it. So it's not because, you've been longing for the partner of a lifetime and you really thought to be on TV. Everybody wants to be on TV. I'm always fascinated, like, on Cops, which doesn't really tape anymore, I don't think. But people were always willing, not at their shining moment, to sign a release. Like, this is
or
right.
Cheaters or
something.
Cheaters.
Yeah, but just to be on TV. And I get it. Because I'm a guy who wanted to be, and probably still wants to.
Are you the father?
But what I'm saying is that kind of epitomizes what we all want. And we want to be recognized, and we want to be stopped, and you want to stand behind the weatherman and wave, and people are happy to be part of the audience, and they can't wait to see themselves. At AGT, we always had the warm-up guy going, you're going to be on this episode. Like, if everybody cheer, and they're excited to be part of the show. And so that's why people get on there. So when I see them trying to sell me that or especially when I see a guy crying about, she likes him and he's not here for the right reason, and it's about me, I go, what the fuck are you thinking?
After like one episode.
Episode. And also to think, like, if you really want to partner with somebody, don't you want to really bring somebody into your real world? Mm-hmm. I mean, you probably live in a 1-bedroom apartment in the city someplace, and I'm not knocking one. I grew up like that, but here you are on a palatial Caribbean vacation somewhere that I can't afford to do. And this is the world that they surround you in. So this is nothing about it is real. Nothing, you're never going to match that world that they give you.
Yeah, that's a common thought. I don't.
You don't agree?
No, in the sense that, like, well, and you asked me what I want on the show. Once I decided to go on the show, I said to myself, well, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to immerse myself in the world. I'm going to be open to getting to know this person and see if there's something there. I'm not going to, try to fall in love, but I'll be open to it. And to your point, yeah, you get to do some really cool experiences, but all the all the dates that seem like, the helicopter rides and all that, there's so much production in there that it's just really hard to have a conversation. It's really hard to build a connection. And it's the dates that feel more real life, like walking through a city and stopping at stores that, actually have the most value. But yeah, yes, you're not building, on The Bachelor, whoever wins, you're spending, if you were to add up all the minutes, it's a relationship built on withholding love rather than actually spending time. You spend moments with each other. You have a little bit of a spark, and then they pull you away from each other. And so you spend most of your time building up these relationships in your head and fantasizing about it and falling in love with the idea of someone rather than the person. And everyone who gets engaged on that show, they feel real feelings. People ask me, what's the thing I learned most about the show? And first couple of years I'd answer the question and be like, well, not really. I'm the same person, yada, yada. But after thinking about it most, I think the thing I learned the most on that show is that feeling in love and being in love can be two different things. Your feelings can be it can feel like love, but in reality it's maybe infatuation, or it's like a spark, or things like that, where depending how you define love, a real emotional connection, a trust, knowing people's weaknesses and knowing who they really are and what makes them vulnerable. You can't possibly learn all that in this world. So everyone who gets to the end, they're really basing their feelings off of kind of fighting everyone off. And they, the people who get to the end truly feel like they have fought. They have fought off all these other suitors and things like that. Even the lead feels like they had to fight through a bunch of people they didn't really want to talk to, but they were forced to talk to, only to finally be with the person they want to be with. And then it's just it's a coin flip. You have real feelings, but you don't really know what these real feelings are. So you agree to date them in the real world and see if you were right. And most people realize they're not your person, and you break up.